words, Mathai sir has mentioned in his uh, that book. No, he has released a book at Pala. While in that book, he has seen that among all associations, ISPS, I have seen that they are doing very excellent work. In 2015, he had sent a mail to me that his wife passed away and he is going to Canada. After coming over here in India in June, I think he came over to Tirupati in 2015, and he has given a 5 lakhs rupee check to me and asked me to put it prize money in the name of Professor A.M. Mathai. If possible, you also start a endowment lecture in the name of Professor Mathai. Immediately that year itself, I started Professor A.M. Mathai endowment lecture. And next year, student prize also 15,000 rupees. He asked for 10 plus 5. Every year we are giving. Right from 2014 to 2024, last year, Kurukshetra conference, he attended all conferences because whenever he is coming to India, immediately he will call where the conference. So so just to blank so that many endowment lecturers are this one. When 2016, I initiated one Dr. Professor C.R. Rao Lifetime Achievement Award. Then I requested Professor C.R. Rao, you please suggest some name. I think it must be on 2015 or 2016. Then immediately Professor C.R. Rao suggested Mathai sir name, first Lifetime Achievement Award he deserves, so you give it that award to him like that. Professor Mathai sir has received that award as a Lifetime Achievement Award in ISPS, that one. From that date till several times he called me and messages he has sent to me whenever coming to India like that. And again, while starting this ISPS Data Science Center exactly on March 13th, 2023, I requested Mathai sir to come over to Tirupati and laying the foundation stone of this ISPS Data Science Center. So he accepted my request and he was here in Tirupati. And he also, because Foundation Stone, he has done it along with his research, Shankar Narayan and his research associates, some other Krishnamurti, all the people have attended. And we have done it in a Mahila University. And later, he was also given an interview with the Hindu people. It's a press article also came in a big way about Professor Mathai sir, his expressions about regarding present day students and research like that way. And again, he always encouraging about and coming over to ISPS conferences. All the 4 days he will sit in the conferences and encouraging. Even one time, sometimes he also suggested to not to go for this type of federation of all Indian statistical societies because it is a big problem for you. So you start only concentrate on ISPS and journal also. He suggested that Springer journal is very good. So you change the editor because of some problem. Because of earlier editor he was very busy and could not be able to find concentration time. And Mathai sir suggested you suggest somebody because Springer journal is very important for our reputation of ISPS. Then immediately I requested Kundu to take over. And from that date, Kundu is doing all the things. And a team of people like Mathai sir, whenever Mathai sir is there are some people associating with the students, all the people very happily know all these years. In spite of this year also, he loves to come for ISPS conference and he has given a mail to me that I'm coming over to India in October and please arrange some lectures at Tirupati. I will give free of lectures. You collect some registration fee. It will be helpful for your data science center. 3 days I will continually doing these are my topics and he suggested. And he also asked me to book the tickets of Indigo flight. Everything is pakka. Because meanwhile, I have received a mail that he is not doing well. And I know it is a problem for me to come over India. It is a doubt. And doctors advise, I have shown that mail also to Balakrishna, IIT Tirupati. So he is suffering a lot at that one. So later, I came to know that he recent mails because of the conference is going on in Vijayawada, VIT. So let ISPS conference and he has sent a paper and he asked his student Preeti or somebody to go and present on behalf of me in the ISPS conference. If not, Rajshekar Reddy will arrange a suitable person to present that paper. That is the condition. And he promised to give every year while coming over to India. He said, I will give 1 lakh to you for data science center, like that. And meanwhile, he also expressed, after coming over, I will give 1 lakh to you. I asked my student from Preeti's to send 1 lakh to you, ready, like that. So meanwhile, we came to know that he is no more. And you know that are all aware, on September 10th, June 29th, National Statistics Day. So we have initiated one room in the name of Professor A.M. Mathai. It is called Professor A.M. Mathai Self-Study Library. Self-study library. So that was inaugurated by our collector, the district collector, Venkateswar, in the presence of Professor Uma Devi, Vice Chancellor of Mahila Viswavidyalaya. So that way, my association is a big way because of during last almost 13 years completely with Mathai sir. I have several messages and he advised several things like that. So whenever he is coming, he will just call to me that, Reddy, where are you? I'm now India. I will come somewhere somewhere I have to come and see you, like that. So that is a good rapport with me, Mathai sir. Today it is very unfortunate that because he is having a strong will, I am confident that he is going living 100 years. But unfortunately, because of that cough, whenever he came to India, somewhere he could not able to trace out last year. And that is leads to finally his death. So my deep condolences to his family, Jubin Mathai sir, Mathai and some other son, so and other family members, friends and relatives. So this is what I wish to inform about my message to the. Over. Okay, thank you.
Thank you, Professor Reddy, sir. Thank you, sir. And now I hope there are several.
Yeah, one more. And because of this Foundation Day on March 13, now I am planning to have some type of lectures in Data Science Center in Tirupati. Because now the Data Science Center, as you are all aware, that we have full equipment, everything is there. And now Mahila University has also approved, because Mathai sir is suggesting, so that Mahila University has approved to start PG Diploma in Data Science and Machine Learning. Hopefully by June we are starting. Now March 13, we thought of now celebrating this Foundation Day in honor of Professor A.M. Mathai. So tomorrow, because of I could not be able to go due to my other works, so tomorrow I'm going to see in Mahila University, another department. I already informed on December 22nd from Vijay VIT. We thought of organizing March 13th to be a day in honor of Professor A.M. Mathai, some lectures. So like that we are planning. So anyhow, I will discuss with the head of the department. I will send a couple of the brochure to all the people, those who are interested to come. So this is my information. Thank you.
Thank you, sir. Thank you for sharing your experiences with Professor Mathai. I hope Professor K.B. Pandey is here and Professor Venkateswaran is here. Professor Dave also in the group. Professor Balakrishna from Tirupati IIT. Professor Yagib Thomas, sir. Professor Romeo. Yeah. Please.
Good sisters, friends and colleagues of Professor A.M. Mathai. We are all deeply saddened by the passing of Professor Mathai. And my acquaintance with Professor Mathai started from early 1990s while I was a research student in mathematics at University of Kerala. I first met him during his visits to India and in particular to Kerala and Center for Mathematical Sciences Trivandrum. He managed to run that institute. Later on, I'm fortunate to associate with the activities of Center for Mathematical Sciences along with Professor Mathai. Several times I assisted or associated with him for organizing activities of Center for Mathematical Sciences. And one special remark I want to make about Professor Mathai is his commitment towards developing a research atmosphere and research center in his native state, Kerala. He made several sincere efforts. He made several contributions. He mentored several students from this part of the country. And his commitment towards the development of such a global research atmosphere in Kerala is very commendable. Apart from his stature as a internationally reputed mathematician and statistician, his contributions, all these things, all are very well established. But beyond that, his commitment towards bringing the global standards and facility in research in mathematics and statistics in India, especially our native state, Kerala, and for that he had made tremendous contributions. And he particularly he made conducted several undergraduate courses, workshops during these years. Let's see, from early 1990s to till 2020. All this period, with Center for Mathematical Sciences, we particularly conducted several undergraduate schools for undergraduate students, and that will immensely benefited them. And I bow to the memories of Professor Mathai, my condolence to his families and the mathematics and statistics fraternity all over the world. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Ranu. One of our trustee, the Mathematical and Statistical Sciences Trust, and Professor Vincent Matthew sir is also with us, and the trustee of our Mathematical and Statistical Sciences Trust, and former Vice Chancellor of Central University of Kerala.
Thank you, Professor Sadish Kumar. I was associated with Professor Mathai as one of his family member, and also with all the academic ventures he had been associated with the Center for Mathematical Sciences at Pala. We deeply mourn, and also we feel that it's a great gap that is very difficult to fill. I am from theoretical physics. I know the standing contributions of Professor A.M. Mathai in this area. A rare combination of academic rigor and a humane nature. All the academic people associated or knowing Professor Mathai will feel the loss we are facing. As part of the academic community and also as part of the family, we deeply mourn. And also, I thank Professor Sadish for organizing this meeting. Thank you.
Thank you, Professor Vincent sir. Shall I? There are several. I'm inviting. Professor Narendra Kumar is here in the group, I think. Professor K.B. Pandey, Professor K. Jayakumar, Professor Rahul Gupta is also in the group. Professor Rahul Gupta, Professor Carlos Kachashvili.
Yes, I'm here.
Yeah, Professor. Okay. Say few words, Professor.
Okay. It is very sad to see such great people leave this world. Unfortunately, I did not have close relationship with Professor Mathai. I have met with him several times in Trivandrum on the conference that organized by Professor Sashish Kumar. But I know that he was very great scientist in different branches of mathematics and respected him for this reason. I express my heartfelt over his departure from that country. My condolences to his family. I'm sorry, I could not say more that because I was not related with him by other activities.
Thank you, Professor Kachashvili, Professor Karthik Kachashvili from Georgia Technical University, Georgia. Thank you, Professor. Thank you. Professor Yagin Thomas, Professor Shaktivel, Professor Jonis, Professor. Yeah.
Yes, sir. So on behalf of the Department of Statistics, Barrier University, we pay our respectable homage to our beloved Professor A. Mathai. So it is really unbelievable and shocking for us. So Professor Mathai, I personally met him for the past 20 years during the ISPS conference. He always very kind, simple, and he always treat people like statistician like grandson. So whenever I see him in the conference, we people attracted him, go and sit with him at least for 5 minutes. We will interact with him. It is not any individual to go through his contribution in the field of statistics and mathematics, such a huge contributions. So we are very happy we were the part of with him. We were lived during his period. So we used to tell our students, especially to our research scholars, first you go and see the contribution of Professor A. N. Mathai. Then imagine how a single individual contributed this much. So in that way, he is a role model, and to all of the researchers of, especially for this generation, he wrote nearly 55 books. Even now, the people not even read 5 books in his entire life. Imagine if he is author of 55 books, how much he contributed to this field. So as a researcher, it is a great loss to this field. As an individual, it's a great loss, like a budding statistician like me. So my respectable homage to Professor A. Mathai, and my deep condolence to the family member of A. Mathai on my own behalf, as well as on my behalf of Department of Statistics, Barrier University. So I thank Professor C. Satish Kumar for organizing this online condolence meeting. Thank you, Professor.
Thank you. I hope Professor Dave, Professor Balakrishnan, sir. Professor Balakrishna from Cochin University, from IIT Tirupati.
Okay, thank you, Professor Satish. I just want to recall, Professor Mathai is as a senior advisor, and just like a very fatherly figure for all of us. He was closely associated with all activities at Cochin University of Science and Technology, the Department of Statistics. He used to visit very often and give seminars and motivate our students. And in addition to that, I think his role in the development of activities of Indian Society for Probability Studies is very remarkable, as Professor Reddy has already mentioned, and he also listed several instances. I think as a whole, we are at loss now. We lost very senior advisor and also a very well-known figure in the subject like mathematics, statistics, and theoretical physics. I pray for the Almighty for his rest for his soul to be in peace, and also my heartfelt condolence to his family. Thank you.
Thank you, Professor Lakshna. Thank you, sir. I hope someone else, Professor Jayakumar.
Myself, Yagin Thomas from
Again, sir.
University of Kerala. Thank you, Professor Satish Kumar, for organizing such a good Google Meet for a great memory of a great scientist, Professor A. Mathai. I had my association with the Professor Mathai from 1975 onwards, when I joined as a lecturer in St. Thomas College, Pala. First, he gave a lecture in St. Thomas College, Pala in 1976. I saw him and heard his lecture for the first time in those days. When he presented himself for the lecture, my eyes replicated virtually to 1,000 eyes. I looked at him fiercely, his lifestyle, his way of presentation, his dress, and his deep knowledge, and that those things all actually impressed me very well and inspired me that I should not be like that. I should do research and come out successfully in my later years. All the important aspects of the professional career of Professor A. Mathai were discussed by several people from all over the world. But apart from all those things, I have one thing to say present before you. He was a kind-hearted, great man. I came to know that when I was working at Pala, he parked a sufficient amount of money in the account of the principal St. Thomas College, Pala, for a noble purpose. The purpose was like this. In those days, many people from the rural areas around Pala, very poor in condition, joined as students. They starved during the lunch time. Without advertising anything, he asked the principal to collect information regarding starving people and secretly give direction to the canteen manager to give free food to them through the funds that he has paid to the principal. Many scientists are there, great people are there, professionally achieved several things, but very rarely people like A. Mathai lived in around us with this great kind-heartedness in their character. Several things were said, and all we agree. Anyway, a great teacher, researcher, and professional leader, Professor A. Mathai, by his research findings and inspiring lectures, profoundly influenced generations of scholars across the world. He was a role model to many young people who wants to achieve success in their mathematical career. But much to the regret of all those who loved and respected him, Professor A. Mathai distinguished career came to an close with his demise on 20th December 2025. As a matter of fact, the mathematical and statistical community in this part of India join with other global people, salute this great Professor A. Mathai and pay their respectful tributes to him. I further express my deep condolences to the family members of Professor A. Mathai as well. With these words, I conclude.
Thank you again, sir. Thank you so much. Shall I invite Johnny, sir? Professor Johnny Scaria, Professor Dev. Yeah,
Myself?
yeah, Professor. Please.
Oh, thank you very much, Professor Satish. I had the first time interaction with him during the 6 weeks program of research training program held during 1993 somewhere. He continuously had the lectures for all 6 weeks on the functions of matrix argument, generalized functions and functions of matrix argument. That really encouraged me to switch over to this field from my then current field of research. Besides the lectures, he was time to time encouraging we people, the participants, for doing research, for referring to a good number of books. He had set up a temporary library there for we people, and that encouraged me a lot. When I returned back to my hometown, Baroda, at MS University, I was really charged at large, and I really still I remember those days. And second time, I had the opportunity to meet him at the Pala, at the conference, international conference, held for his 75th birth anniversary. At that time, he took lot of care when I was just departing after completing the conference, that how I should go and with whom I should go. So he was taking lot of care even for the participants. My great condolence to his family and research associates and his friend. Thank you, Professor Satish. Thank you.
Thank you, Professor Dev. Thank you. Shall I invite Professor Narendra Kumar, Professor Rahul Gupta? Whether Professor Muthukumar is here? Professor Jarmina? Professor Jayakumar? Professor K. Jayakumar?
Okay.
Please.
Okay. Thank you, Professor Satish, for organizing these condolences in respect of the sad demise of Professor Mathai, sir. And I have the connection with Professor Mathai while I was a student at Kerala University during 1985-87. And later, in 88, I have joined, after my completion of my PhD, I have joined as a research associate at the Center for Mathematical Sciences, where he was the director. And he was, in fact, very much instrumental in developing a research culture in statistics in Kerala. And a lot of students, myself, Professor Satish, and all, we got inspired from him. And that is one of the reasons for us for taking statistics as our career. And he was very much instrumental and very much key in developing youngsters who are interested in mathematics and statistics, and build them using the circuit school of the DSP. So, and I think that about 14 students have awarded PhD under his guidance in Kerala and in the subject of statistics and related fields. And he was very much fond of Kerala and India
And he is a well-known researcher, as everyone told here, everyone expressed here, in developing statistics. And he has the very, he was, and also he was served as the chairman of the Kerala Statistical Commission for a term. So, which in fact means that he was very much interested in developing a research culture and a statistics culture, and training and teaching and training of students in statistics and related areas. So I think that a generation was got benefited from Professor Mathai, and we in fact we are both for his generosity. And I take this opportunity in participating the sad demise in the in the in the and heard express the heartfelt condolences in the sad demise of Professor A.M. Thank you, thank you.
Thank you, Professor Jaguma. Thank you. Professor Sudesh Katumanil from ISI Chennai.
Yeah, I have a great respect to him, and I met him at IIT Kanpur in 2013. After that, I have a great association with his students, and through him, I know him several things, and all these things are in fact described by several professors. And it was actually a shock for me to hear this news, as we all expect that he will live for more long time. And I wanted to tell one simple story actually. And you all people talk about his several contributions and other things, but I still give one of his example to differentiate what is censoring and truncation. Very simple example he given to me. So this is what the way he means uh, express very confused things through a simple languages. So that from that actually I learned from him. So I always have, as I mentioned, still I am having this association with some of his students, and I express my heartful condolence to his family. Thank you, Professor Sadish Kumar, for giving this opportunity.
Thank you, Professor Sudesh. Now let me to call Professor Ashish Gupta, great scientist, now statistician professor from ISI, and it's a great figure in our area of statistics. Professor Ashish Gupta. Professor Ashish. In fact, in the group we have several people are there, and Professor Rahul Gupta is here. Professor Narendra Kumar is here. Several Professor Jamina was earlier I noticed, and also daughter of Mathai sir, Lilza madam is here, and Shanoja, Dr. Shanoja and Dr. Dilip Kumar are here. Professor Ashish Sengupta, any audio problem? Professor D.K. Ghosh is also here. So D.K. Ghosh.
Thank you, Professor Satish.
Yeah, welcome, Professor.
Thank you. Actually, I am remembering my old days, 30 months before, in 1992, Professor Mathai arranged a 21 days program in linear model and design of experiment at Kerala University, Trivandrum. And he invited me for that program. We were with him for 21 days. And I enjoyed his lectures. And I learned 2-3 things from him. One was his simplicity, honesty, and dedication to the subjects. Again, when he organized a series of lectures at St. Thomas College, Pala, funded by DST, I was the first speaker for a week, and I delivered a series of lectures for 7 days in design of experiments. I was very pleased with my lectures, and he often and always was in contact with me. And I was more pleasure when I received my fellow of ISPS at Allahabad University. He himself put the soul on my soldier. That day I can't forget it. It was a great feeling for me, and that I was felicitated by a person like Professor A. Mathai, a renowned statistician and mathematician of the world. So it is a great loss for the statistics fraternity of the world, as he was very well expert in teaching and research. I express my condolence to his family and the fraternity of the statistics community. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Professor. Thank you so much. Professor Ashish. Professor Ashish Gupta. Professor Bilal. Since in the online meeting, I couldn't locate all the persons. So those who have to say some, to share their experiences, please come forward.
Please, sir. Good evening, sir.
Good evening. Good evening.
My deepest condolence for the demise of Professor A.M. Mathai, sir.
Hello, sir. Hello, sir. Yes, sir. Oh, okay. So,
Thank you, Tinani.
okay, then can we do this? Like, I can, you can speak from. Yes, sir. Yes.
Dr. Manoj Kumar. Dr. Yeah. Raghavendra Sharma. Girish Babu. Dilip. Dilip Kumar.
Yes, sir.
Yeah. Dilip. Yeah, Dilip. Yes.
Thank you very much, Sadish sir, for giving me this opportunity to speak
Welcome.
During this condolence meeting of Professor Mathai. I am fortunate that I was the student of him at Center for Mathematical Sciences, Pale, from 2007 to 2013. I first had the opportunity to meet him at Center for Mathematical Sciences when I joined for an SCRB school organized by the center and funded by the Department of Science and Technology. And from there onwards, from the very first class of Professor Mathai, I was inspired by the way he spoke or he handled the classes on special functions and all. And soon after that, I uh, requested Professor Mathai to take me as a student for doing my PhD at Center for Mathematical Sciences. And he said, okay, you can join as a researcher at Center for Mathematical Sciences as a researcher, but there won't be any funding at that time. But I said, okay, sir, I am ready to, I don't want any fund. I will complete my research. I just want to do research under your guidance. That was my only request. And Professor Mathai agreed. But anyway, after the end of the CERC school, he came to me and told me that the Department of Science and Technology has kindly agreed to take 3 students for completing their PhD with a fellowship. And I was fortunate that I was one among that to complete my PhD under him. It was actually a beginning of a bond, not only between a student and a teacher, but as a fatherly person to me. He was not only training me as a student, but as a father, he was teaching me how to live in a community or how to become a successful researcher or how to handle a situation. I can name many situations which Professor Mathai has taught how to behave. And starting from that point onwards, and before 3 days of his death, I was with him at each and every moment. And the very moment that I heard about his illness, I was totally felt very much distressed. In fact, when he was at the hospitals, I tried to call him also and to see at least once his face. Actually, this is a great loss, not only to the community of mathematics or scientific community in Kerala or India or the entire globe. It was actually a personal loss to me also. He was a guiding light for every activities. Whatever programs I organize, currently I'm at the University of Kerala as an assistant professor. It is only happened only because of his guidance. He taught me how to behave. When I joined a nearby college, NSS college, you can continue your research. And the same thing happened for the 4 years when I was there at the NSS college. I could not do any research. And after that, when I joined university, he said, now you are at a correct position and now you can continue your research. And from that point onwards, starting from 2020, whenever he comes to India, he used to come to my department and shares his experience to my students. And it was actually a very great inspiration for me and my students. In fact, when I think it is not only the experience of my personal experience, but I think everybody will feel that when we see him, we will get an unknowing strength to do, and we will feel that every problem is solved because his words are very powerful. And when he was my supervisor and I was doing research, he showed me how to do research rather to teach me how to do research, but he showed me with his own behavior. He used to come to the center at 7 a.m. in the morning and work till 7 p.m. even at the age of 75. So he never wasted his time. He never wasted. He said that you have to do whatever job is assigned to you. You have to do. You have to clean the surroundings. You have to you have to do whatever things you can do. And he told me that this is not the dignity. It is not regarding the dignity to do every job, but it should be the attitude that we should follow. That we have to do everything. That is why there was no cleaning staff at Center for Mathematical Sciences, and the researchers who were present there used to clean that. But at that time we felt that why there is no cleaning staff. But later on we realized that these are all things which built us to the position what we are now. So I think this is a great learning experience, and I think I can divide my life into two parts. Like first part with an unorganized life, and after Professor Mathai, I had an organized life and an organized research life and an organized life in my. I even at every problems I can quote one example of Professor Mathai. And it is actually a great loss for everybody who are in this community, in the entire research community. And I wholeheartedly thank Satish sir for giving me this opportunity for saying and remembering Professor Mathai at this moment. And I wish Professor Mathai's guiding light will be always with me. And always I would like to say, and maybe in future when I used to write a book, I could say that as he introduced one pathway model, it's actually from the beginning itself I thought him as the pathway to light. So maybe in future, maybe I can say Professor Mathai as the pathway to light. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Professor Dr. Dilip Kumar. And let me to invite Professor Ashish Gupta. Please share your experience with Professor Mathai.
Am I audible, Satish?
Yeah, audible, Professor. Audible.
Thank you very much. Okay. So, thank you very much for giving me this opportunity. I am extremely sorry. Yeah, thank you. I'm extremely sorry that I could not join earlier, in spite of wanting it so much. So, please don't take this as an excuse. I had to go to the Ramakrishna Mission Maharaj, So today is the birth tithi of Vivekananda, and I was invited there, and Maharaj himself had come. So I was called from my home to be with him. Okay, and I had to go there, and it clashed. It was also at 7 o'clock, and there's no way I could not go because they had insisted on it, and they called me, and I had to rush there, and I had to just talk to the Maharaja, be on the stage, and greet him, whatever. Okay, but that coincidence also is a remarkable thing. At one end, the Maharaja was talking about our moksha, and at the same time, the Chaitanya that you say, okay, the revelation that we have for our inner soul. On the other hand, I was thinking here now that about Professor Mathai's contribution to our real world, okay, to what he has done. Both the things, they have to go together, the brain and the heart together. That's the fulfillment. So what a day to remember Professor Mathai. Okay, today is a very auspicious day. Okay. Some of you may know who are there with the Ramakrishna Mission or with the Swami Vivekananda to remember this day. So thank you very much, Satish. It just turned out to be, or you had planned it to be on such a day. Regarding Professor Mathai, I heard a few of those who have talked after I joined. Okay, the remarkable things, how he shaped, molded the lives of so many people. Okay, from different aspects. As Dilip was saying, just a few minutes back, he has organized his way of life. He said he has put it in two parts. The first part was sort of unorganized, and the second part, how he learned from Professor Mathai. For me also, I was really amazed. My first experience was when I wrote to him regarding a paper. At that time, I just had finished my PhD and I started teaching at Stanford University. And from there, I found out one is paper in special functions, and he had done a very commendable job I had just come out of my PhD and started teaching there. So I, with a sort of a hesitation, I wrote to him. I didn't know such a big person whether he will respond to me. I wanted to know about the special functions, his results, and there he was. He sent me the whole program, the program for the special functions he had written there. Okay, and my paper, I did not use it, but I learned from it, and my paper came out on the special functions, and that was possibly my very first paper or the second paper that came out in my life. So that's when I thought of, wow, such a great person. I have not met him earlier. Okay, but the way he treated even such junior persons like me, okay, just entering into the field, was a revelation to me. How we should treat our junior students, okay, how to inculcate in them this thirst and also at the same time inspire them for the research. His soft, mild nature, his interaction, that I faced from time to time, we used to wonder how can he keep such a cool and be with us all the time. I remember many times we have met, and several times because of the ISPS or because of other programs, uh, I was really honored to give lectures by his name, endowment lecture, Mathai endowment lecture. If you look at I probably have did it 3 times at least, if not more. And I've given that at ISPS and with Satish's place also, his special programs. And then I find Professor Mathai standing there at the side of the dais. When I come down, he comes and says, Ashish, and he wants to talk to me. Such a feeling right there when to discuss the research, what I had done. And it was sort of in his area, but not totally as a bit of tangential. But we started discussing. And I was wondering at that age, he's listening to my talk, followed it through, and here are suggestions he was discussing with me about the contents, how to go forward, and all criticisms, not only that, the encouragements together. And then we met several other times. I was wondering that this is a man, this is an icon for statistics. It would not be just saying that he's a professor like that. He's icon to our statistical community. His image has been to nourish not only the statistics of us that lives in us, but also he nourishes the scientific flavor, our thought processes, of the way that we can proceed. It was a real shock. It was not expected. Even a few days before he died, we were talking, okay, next time we are going to meet Professor Mathai in the next conference. This time we could not. Maybe next time we'll meet him at the conference. And there comes the shocking news. But this is what nature is. We have to let go of the most beloved, most respected people at some point of time. He has done his share. He has given us lots and lots of things to do more. He has shaped the lives of many others. He has inculcated in us the search for research, the thirst for research, at the same time, how to live very simple, very modest, at the same time, a very towering life and personality. Uh, I feel deeply grieved at his loss, as we all do, but do with his share the grief with his family members, and I pray that his soul finds rest and peace wherever he is. Thank you, Sati, for giving me this opportunity.
Thank you, Professor. Thank you. In fact, there are several others also there in the group. Those who are interested to say few words can join. In fact, several also send messages, condolence messages to me, was in reply to the email, as well as Professor K.B. Pandey and Professor several professors shared their messages through our chat box also. Professor Jamalamedaka Srinivas Rao sent a message to me, and Professor Nalini Ravishankar, Professor B.K. Sinha from ISI, Professor David Banks from Duke University, USA, and several others already sent messages. And also, Professor Girish Babu, Professor Rahul Gupta, Sir, shared their message. Professor K.B. Pandey may send their messages via this chat box also. Several also there. Anyone who need who is interested to join, please. Also, we are waiting for the words from daughter of Professor Mathai sir, Lalita madam. I hope in the group. Or if Shanoja, Dr. Shanoja, whether you are in the group.
Would you like me to speak then now?
Yeah, madam. Yeah, please. Yeah.
You can hear me? Okay. Well,
Professor Mathai sir. Yeah,
yes. Thank you, Dr. Satish, for organizing this event to remember and celebrate my father. Much appreciated. Like all of us, my dad had several sides to him. You all know him as a mentor and a colleague, somebody who was brilliant in his field, but also willing and wanting to help shape the young people and advance their careers. For some of you, he even helped you with your kids, and he would always say to your children, study hard. As a father, my dad taught all of us actually the value of hard work, and it started with our studies. I remember when we were going to school, my dad, we'd come home. He'd always say, you have to do well in your studies. So we'd work really hard. We'd come home. We'd get 99% on an exam. He'd say, what happened to the other 1%? So, that may not have been the best way to inspire us. But what it did for me is it made me want to work for that 1%. So I worked harder to make sure that the next time I came home, it was 100% on that. And once you get the taste for being top of the class, you have to stay there. So I worked really hard to do that. But that's what he taught us, the value of hard work, always striving, always working to be the best that you can. And that's something that I do try and do in everything that I undertake. He also taught me to stay active. Always be active in your mind and in your body. So I remember when we were young kids, my brothers and I, if he'd see us watching television, he'd say, oh, go do some work or do something interesting. So we'd all run outside and play or disappear and start doing something else. In the last couple of decades, my parents moved to Toronto to be closer to me. And I had the opportunity to spend more time with both my parents and my dad when he was here in the summers. And he lived by that motto. So every morning he'd wake up while he was here, he'd do his walk of several kilometers. Then he'd go and spend time in the garden and do everything before the sun was even up. Then he'd take a break and then start immediately with his academic work. He kept busy all the time, and that really inspired me. I want to be like that. And I think this keeping busy in your mind and your body is what helped keep him acting and looking young for his 90 years, actually. My father's other passion, academic work being his number one passion, but his other passion was nature and gardening. From the time we were little, I always remember my dad planting flowers and trees wherever, like at our house. And I definitely inherited his love of nature and gardening from him because no matter where I've been, I've always planted some plants and tended a small garden. In later years, when he came here, I remember we used to spend time and go to the nursery together in the spring, and we would buy all sorts of plants for the ones that I hadn't already started by seed. And then we'd go to our respective houses and plant our gardens. But my dad always left with more plants than I had because if I didn't have space to grow it, I would just give it to my dad, and somehow he would find space in his garden. He'd grow those plants for me, and then proudly bring all the vegetables or fruits to me. In fact, between the two of us, I used to have enough produce to make jams and sauces, and I'd put away squash and potatoes and so many other vegetables to last most of the winters here. When we weren't gardening, I remember we would take drives in the country, just enjoying nature, enjoying the scenery, and maybe stopping at other farmers' stalls to sample their produce and see what it was all about. I'm going to miss that very much for him. I miss the times that we spent together. I know this meeting today is to honor my father, but I would be remiss if I didn't mention something about my mother. As you know, my dad's heart was in India. He spent most of his free time in India since the time that we were very young children. But he would not have been able to do that without my mother. She was quiet, yet strong. And she was the one who raised us when he was not there. She taught us compassion and empathy and quiet determination. I'm very lucky to have both of my parents. Both of them were generous with their time and their money, and both of them instilled good values into us. And I have tried to send those or instill those values in my own children so that they can be productive and kind human beings. So thank you all again for being here and for honoring my father in the best way that any of you can by remembering him and continuing to do with others as he has done for all of you. Thank you so much for your time and for just being here to remember him. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. Subin Mathai, I think your younger brother, Jubin or Subin, he also sent a video. Shall I show it through this platform?
Sure. Yes, please, because he's sad that he wasn't able to be here. It's very early his time. But yes, he sent this for everybody.
Hello, my name is Zubin. I'm Dr. Mathai's youngest son, and I want to say a little bit about my father. I always admired his intelligence and his passion for his work. As a child, I remember the first.
Is there any problem in the audio?
Yeah, I shall to check.
Hello, my name is Zubin. I'm Dr. Mathai's youngest son.
Yeah,
and I want to
now
say
it's
a little
good.
bit
Yeah.
about my father. I always admired his intelligence and his passion for his work. As a child, I remember the first time we visited his office at McGill University in Montreal. I was probably 8, too young to fully understand what he did. I was just impressed by his wall of books on many scientific topics, and I was also impressed by how focused he was. We waited for him to finish work so we could all go home, and he sat at his desk with a slight frown of concentration, with his focused silence filling the room. A few years later, on another visit to his office, he showed us a fancy device on his corner table. It was a computer. I had never seen one before and was filled with curiosity. That year, I saw a little of my father's selflessness. Even though he bought that computer for his work, when he saw my interest in it, he decided to bring it home. I parked myself in front of that computer every night after school, learning to program. A little act of my father's selflessness, giving up his computer to bring it home, gave me a career. It gave me a passion for engineering that mirrored my father's passion for statistics. Some of my father's other passions were traveling in nature, and he was happy to share those passions with us. I cannot thank him enough for taking us on so many trips when we were younger. We traveled across Canada, the US, and the entire world, seeing places that shaped my young mind and expanded its worldview. When I was 10, my father bought a piece of land in the mountains north of Montreal. He would eventually design and build a cottage on that land, one we'd go to every weekend. There, his passion for nature and hard work spilled over into me. I loved hiking the mountain trails, and I loved when my father took me out in the canoe on the lake, and when I eventually got older, to go out on my own, dipping my soul into the serenity wafting across the waters. In his later years, my father expanded another of his passions, one for gardening. Whenever I would visit his house in Toronto, I would be impressed by how many vegetables he had flourishing there. Like a true mathematician, he had made optimal use of his backyard, packing every corner full of tomatoes, carrots, cucumbers, squash, and more. The last time I went up to visit him, after he had first gotten sick, I didn't know what to expect. When I first saw him, I was shocked by how weak he had become. One day, with a faint voice, he suggested we go into the backyard so I could pick some of his vegetables. I bundled him up in some blankets and sat him on the back patio while I entered the garden. He called out instructions with a raspy voice, pointing at which tomatoes or carrots to pluck. After a while, he got quiet, and I got lost in filling the buckets with ripe vegetables. I navigated the maze of wires and fencing he had installed to keep the plants upright and the squirrels out, a feat of engineering in its own right. I eventually looked back and saw my father sitting there with his familiar, gentle frown. His gaze was watching over me, filling the backyard with that same focused silence that filled his office as he sat working when I was an 8-year-old boy. It was then that I realized his mind and personality was still there, even if his body was being taken by the illness. That unique mind, formed in a child in Kerala, that carried him to Toronto to study, Montreal to work, then the world to explore, was still there even as the body neared its end. It was a mind as strong as ever, and I got to appreciate it all over again on that final trip to visit him. I am not able to put into words how much I respected my father and his accomplishments. I don't think I even have to put it into words because I see evidence of it in the students he inspired and the colleagues who collaborated with him and became his friends, many of whom are gathering to honor him. May we all remember and appreciate the life he lived and how he lived it with the silent goal of leaving everything in that unique mind of his to the world. I thank you so much for your time.
Thank you for sending this message, this video message. Anyone else in this group platform, please, to share your experiences. We stand before, in fact, today, with a heart filled with deep sorrow to pay my humble tribute to my most beloved teacher, mentor, and guiding light, Professor M. Mathai, sir, whose sad demise has left us an irreplaceable void, not only in my life, but also in the global statistical community. For me, this loss is profoundly personal. Professor Mathai, sir, was not only behind my academic success, but behind who I became as a teacher and researcher. He shaped my intellectual foundations, my discipline, my values, and my way of thinking. Whatever little I have achieved in my academic journey, I owe largely to his vision, encouragement, and unwavering faith in me. As I stand here today in this platform, I can truly say that I feel the presence of his soul among us. Over the past several years, whenever I attended ISPS conferences, Mathai sir was always with me in every discussion, every presentation, and every moment of reflection. Even when he was not physically present, his guidance, his words, and his principles accompanied me on each and every occasion. He never left my side as a mentor. I still clearly remember the first time I saw him during my master's program. From that moment until our last meeting in March, he remained youthful in spirit, active, vibrant, and ever enthusiastic. I was fortunate to attend several conferences, symposia, workshops, and search schools organized by Center for Mathematical Sciences under his leadership. His punctuality, discipline, and insistence on academic rigor in organizing these programs played a crucial role in molding generations of researchers in mathematics and statistics across our country, particularly in Kerala. These academic activities inspired many students, including myself, to pursue research in these disciplines, as mentioned by our earlier friends. Professor Mathai extended his support to me and my academic activities in countless ways. Whenever he informed us of his visit to Trivandrum in advance, while staying at Ernakulam, he would begin his journey as early as 3 a.m., arrive on the campus by 8 a.m., even before students and faculty reached the campus, and conduct classes continuously from 10 a.m. to 5 p.m. without the slight sign of fatigue. With a remarkable clarity and patience, he explained even the most abstract concepts in a simple and accessible manner. Such dedication is unforgettable. We can never forget a person like him. I consider myself extremely fortunate to have received his guidance at a crucial stage of my life when, as a young researcher, I was searching for direction, confidence, and purpose. In 1993, after securing the UGC CSIR fellowship, Junior Research Fellowship, while continuing my responsibilities in a Department of Science and Technology project at the center, I registered for my PhD in the Department of Statistics, University of Kerala, under the guidance of Professor T.S.K. Muthad. Throughout this journey, it was Mathai's consistent encouragement, intellectual rigor, and unwavering faith in me that shaped my career as a researcher. Whatever I am today as an academician, I owe in large measure to his guidance and blessings. What always amazed me was Mathai never changed intellectually or emotionally over all these years. Despite his immense global stature, he remained deeply humane, approachable, and ever willing to extend support in times of need. Whenever I organized international conferences and workshops in Trivandrum, he stood firmly beside me, offering invaluable advice, encouragement, and moral strength. Professor Mathai taught us that mathematics or statistics are not merely collections of formulae and techniques, but ways of thinking rooted in rigor, creativity, humility, and service to humanity. His scholarship was immense, but his simplicity, kindness, and generosity of spirit were even greater. He nurtured generations of scholars across the world, leaving behind not only publications, but people, better thinkers, better teachers, and better human beings. Though his physical presence is no longer with us, his legacy will continue to live through his students, his ideas, and the values he instilled in us. For me, he remains a constant guiding force, silently watching, gently guiding, and eternally inspiring. I bow my head in deep gratitude and reverence to my great Guru, Mathai Sir, Professor M. Mathai. May his noble soul attain moksha and rest in eternal peace. Thank you. Thank you all. Thank you. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Satish. Bye.
Thank you. In fact, formally respected professors from various parts of the globe, on behalf of the Mathematical and Statistical Sciences Trust, we, the trustees of the, extend our sincere thanks to all who have joined this online condolence meeting to honor the memory of Professor Mathai. We are grateful to our president, in fact, our senior professors or the governing council members of this trust, Professor Uman sir, Professor Yagin Thomas sir, other trustees, Professor Romeo, Professor Vincent Matthews, and the speakers and all the scholars and participants who shared their thoughtful tributes, reflections, and messages. And his family members, his daughter Ledda Madam and Subi, helping us to remember and celebrate a truly remarkable life. Thank you. Thank you all. Thank you so much.
Okay.
Thank you. Thank you, Professor Ashish.
Hi, Ashish.
Yeah. Thank you, ma'am.
Okay.
Okay, Sadish.
See, my...
Let us wind
Thank
up.
you. Yeah,
Hello,
let us-
Romeo. Bye.
With a silent 1 minute prayer, let us wind up. We conclude this. Praying for you. Thank you.